Well, good morning everyone. That is some of my housemates are heading off for breakfast right now in Peel. I'm staying here and just waiting, and you see here this is a lovely morning, absolutely beautiful. It's not as windy as I said it was going to be, and it's much sunnier, although it's still quite changeable. It seems the weather's still quite changeable, but right now I'm just enjoying this morning. It's not too cold either, as you can see. I'm still in my t-shirt, and the sea's blue and the sky's blue, etc, etc. Not sure exactly what we're going to do today. Two possibilities. We may go whale watching if the weather's good enough for us to go out on a boat. That's up to the whale watching organisers. Or we're going to go and experience what I'm hoping is, what I'm expecting and planning to be the highlight of this mission here, this project. We're going to go to see the home of Jeff, the talking mongoose. I've just been looking at some of the sites here. So for example, there's a boat there, which I've been looking at. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. It's actually a cabin cruiser. Yeah, it looks. I thought it was standing still, but you can see it's got a wake, which is making way very slowly. That was actually maybe one of the boats at the marina. There's actually a sailing boat somewhere over there. I saw they've gone into that bay. That's called Bradder Head. That headland there. There's a cairn on top of it, and that is actually on the other side of that is Port Erin, where we were yesterday. Yeah, that's good. Lots of cows over there, and there's ruins. Apparently, like Steve, who he spoke at he spoke at Weirdwood End North. He's into the pagan scene very big time, and he said that he thinks there was a pagan ritual over at those ruins. A couple of years ago, when he was here last year, I think he came last year, and he said because a load of cars parked at the main car park, which is where those trees are up there, before you get to this gate, or before you get to the outer gate as well, and he said that he was interested to see what was going on. I mean, maybe I think he was just looking to see if they was going to take their kit off. I don't know. He's a bit obsessed with that, but we don't know if they got stripped naked or anything, because some of these pagans do. But he did. But he thinks there was some kind of ritual there. Not Illuminati stuff. No, nothing nefarious. What's that there? That looks like some stones. There's some stones there, and. The sky is still blue and the sea is still blue. It looks lovely. I think we're waiting for the. I think we haven't heard from the whale watchers, so we're probably going to go to Dawlish Cashin. Just going to wait for the others to come back from breakfast. It's just me and Jackie here at the moment. The others are all in Peel. But I didn't really need a big breakfast this morning. I had a big dinner last night. Right, ladies and gents, it looks like we have some spying on us, or maybe it's just me being paranoid. There are some people on top of, well, they seem to have gone now apparently, but there were some people on top of that mountain there, or that hill, near us, by the cairn there, which I think marks the summit, and they were staring down, according to Jackie. All my friends have now come back from their breakfast in Peel. Yeah, there's no one there now. Maybe they weren't spying on us, maybe they were just rambling. But apparently there was someone spotted a humpback whale, apparently, somewhere in the sea near here, and turned out it was from 2 days ago. Mind you, it may come back. Paul, you see, he's giving me terrible camera envy right now, because he has that massive telephoto lens there. You know, that's one big telephoto lens, man. Yeah. But they were just, you never know, someone. This is a public footpath. I mean, people are going to wander around here. It doesn't mean other men in black trying to hunt us. Oh, yeah. It looks like your lens needs work as well. So, next to the cairn. I thought he's rambling. Yeah, they're just rambling. Yeah. There's another boat down there. You can see another boat.
Just the back of the Foiling, which is the coastal path that goes all the way around the island.
And it's another little. I think that's another cabin cruiser. Much smaller than the last one. I found out what that ship's called. The ship we saw, that big ship sailing past, Jackie, remember?
Yeah.
It's gone now, I think. It's called LNG Mirak.
Oh, the big merchant.
It is actually a liquid natural gas carrier, registered in China. It's quite a new ship, actually, launched 2020.
Where did you find that out?
I got a ship tracker on my phone.
Ship tracker.
I managed to get a ship tracker, yeah.
Is it that one?
I know that plane.
Let's have a look. Yeah, you got a picture of it?
Oh, there it is.
Still there? She's still there, right. Yeah, got a good... She's not travel. She's probably not going very fast. Top speed 20 knots, but she's probably going much slower.
Yeah.
They have to go at the most economical speed, which is usually quite slow for a large ship like that. It takes longer to get anywhere, but they spend less money. It's less, the transport costs are less.
When they come into harbour, it can take them. They have to sort of slow down.
Yeah.
They put it in reverse.
Yes,
They haven't got brakes.
Yeah.
It can take about 5 miles to stop.
Exactly, that's it, LNG, that's LNG. She's quite a big ship, actually, yeah. Maybe it's come all the way from China. I looked at the destination, just says Northwest Europe, so it doesn't really tell you very much. Could be anywhere, but it's heading up the Irish Sea. She may be heading for Scotland, or maybe Norway, Scandinavia, somewhere else in Scandinavia. So, but I just have to see. What an amazing set. There's another boat there, see?
Another thing for looking for whales is you look for, you have to obviously check the fishing boat hasn't done it, because when they chuck the fish out you'll get the same effect, but you get an oily scum because of the krill, it's eating the krill. So one way to look for a whale is look for the oily scum, and if there's no boats around, usually means there's a whale.
That's a small boat,
yeah.
that's like a small, I can't see exactly what it is, it's a small boat there.
So because the feeding on things, you get the seabirds as well.
Yeah, you get the seabirds jumping in as well, yeah.
You got a good shot of that one? Let's have a look.
Not in focus.
No, it's a small boat,
very
yeah.
small one.
That's a small boat, like a dinghy or something. Hey guys, well the others have now come back, all from their breakfast in Peel. As you just heard, they thought they might have seen a whale, but it turned to be a false alarm. We're actually now heading off, what for me, I'm expecting to be the highlight of this mission here on the Isle of Man. And we're going to visit the place where Jeff lived, Jeff the Talking Mongoose, or whatever it was. Now what we're going to do is, it's actually not very far, we're here in Erie, Cushlin. We can actually drive most of the way. We get up here like this. At some point we have to park just by this plantation, which is these tightly packed trees I showed you earlier. That's like the main road. See, that's the main road we were on before you get here. And we can go up here where up this path here to Dalby Mountain. And as you can see, there's some quite tight contours, and there's like a rough farmer's track. And it takes us here to Dawlish Cashin, which is actually marked as a house on this map. However, there is actually no building there other than the remains of some walls. That's all there is, and that is where Jeff the Talking Mongoose lived, or supposedly lived. We know that the family, the Irving family, Jim and his, I forgot what the mother's name was, and his daughter Voiri lived here in the 1920s and 1930s, and for a short time they became an international superstars because of what was known as the Dalby Spook, the eighth wonder of the world, the Alpha and the Omega, and all the other very modest things he called himself. Jeff, the Talking Mongoose. Yeah. Well, he appeared as a mongoose. He first was seen by the mother at the house, it was a very roughly built house. It was actually demolished in the early 70s. It was there was like some wood panelling, and there was like a wall cavity. And the mongoose actually lived in the wall cavity for most of the time, and stuck its claws out through a crack at one point. And when the mother reached out to touch it, she felt something bite her, and this little voice said, "Oh, you better go and disinfect the wound." And then after that, they had long conversations with Jeff. Jeff is a very erudite, very intelligent being. For example, he called himself all kinds of names. Said that he lived in heaven, and that this place, Erie Cushlin, was hell. Interesting, this place, Erie Cushlin, used to be a farm. This was actually a farm, and the mongoose population on the Isle of Man was actually released here. Now we don't know if any of those mongoose or mongooses or mongeese or whatever you want to call them still survive. But we do know that none of them can talk. The ones but Paul there actually has been setting up trail cameras. I showed you one of the trail cameras earlier, and I told you there'd be a story behind it. And he's been setting up trail cameras in various locations. So I'll take a walk over here. I've got my proper boots on now, so I can walk on the stony pallet. This little building here is apparently where the generator is, where all electricity comes from. That's our gas supply up there. Clothesline, you can see. And Richard is contemplating the heavens. So Richard, is this where the generator is in there?
I believe so, yeah, there's laundry as well.
Yeah.
The old mill at one time.
Yeah, there's apparently a spot. You can see the remains of a stream here. There's like a stream, which used to be, and it looks like that kind of place actually. And there was there a water wheel attached to this? Right. Yeah. There's lovely chattering brook here.
Yeah. There is a pool at the back. I've not seen it. We'll have to check it out sometime.
Yeah.
But that's a bomb crater.
From yes.
The wall.
Yeah. Apparently, a guy came and lived during World War II. One guy said, well, there was some threats that maybe the Germans will bomb Douglas in the Blitz. So he said, well, I'll come to the one place on the Isle of Man which won't get bombed by the Germans. So he came to Erie Cushling. Problem is, this is the only place on the Isle of Man that the Luftwaffe ever dropped a bomb, and its crater is somewhere in this vicinity. I think this is where there was a water wheel. There's some old piece of equipment there, you can see. Yeah. And here's our generator and everything else. Our physical plant, as Kim Stanley Robinson called it. The sky looks lovely, it's beautiful weather. But anyway, Jeff, the mongoose, was a very, very clever fellow. I mean, I say mongoose, obviously it was not a normal mongoose, it was a zooiform phenomena, to quote Jonathan Downes. Something that sometimes appeared as an animal, but was nothing of the sort. And he could speak several languages, including English and his native Manx. For example, he could speak Latin, I believe.
He could speak Hindi,
yeah.
And he could speak Yiddish, but not terribly well.
Right.
But the languages he could speak were all the languages that Jim Irving could speak.
I see.
Which
I wonder if that's a coincidence.
might give us a clue to his true nature. I think he was a Gestalt unconscious thought form.
Paul Tulp, I think.
Yeah, created by the family.
Right. Yeah. So in other words, like a physical manifestation of mental powers.
Yeah.
Some ghosts may actually be that, poltergeist things. We know poltergeists centre around certain people, especially young girls who are like early adolescents. And there's a theory that it's unlike ghosts that haunt buildings, these haunt people. And there's a theory that it's actually the girl's own mind is generating it through some mechanism we don't yet understand.
Nandor Fodor, the psychologist Nandor Fodor, thought it was Jim Irving was the centre rather than Vorik.
Right. So it's the father was actually the physical
That's
figure.
what he thought. I think it's likely to be a combination of the whole family.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go up there and then see if we can see anything interesting, which what we will. We'll see the location. And later on, we've got a little surprise for you, because Richard has some plans for what we're going to do regarding Jeff the Mongoose. So stay tuned for that. We're just getting ready now. I'm bringing my waterproof. I'm bringing my map, waterproof, bottle of water. Nothing more radical needed, just sturdy walking shoes. And yeah, actually getting to this location is not that difficult if you're reasonably fit. There is another route that goes through, actually goes from Dalby, which there's a video actually online. If you put in Jeff the Mongoose, you'll find a video of a guy called Highland Explorers or something. And he actually does visit the location via the pathway that goes up the hill from Dalby down up. That's actually sometimes a stream. You can't actually do it because of the wet weather. It's a stream, but there's like this pathway, and eventually you get to this field. This field's just pretty much like this one. You'll see them soon. and you may not be very impressed with what's there, but I'll show you some photos later of what it used to look like. It was a house actually very similar to this one in terms of architecture, things like that. It seems to be like quite classic here. By the way, we've got our own Moddy-Do. This is a part of Manx folklore. This book actually, Supernatural Isle of Man by Jenny Randalls, is actually worth reading. You can pause and read that if you want. It's got a list of all the stuff. Jenny Randalls, best known for her ufology. I love this island, often came here. She's been coming here since she was 8 years old and learnt a lot about it. Yeah. So we're just waiting for everyone to get ready and then we're going to head off. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're now leaving Erie Cushlin along the... You've only ever seen this in the dark. We're going over there in the daytime. It's actually a short drive and then we're going to park the car and walk. But it's actually not a very long walk, as I showed you earlier. But we're going to drive as much of it as we can. I'm in a different car today with Ben, the other Ben. And that's because Jackie decided to leave her car behind. Just the two of us will be, 2 cars will be enough. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It'll be exciting. What's a chow? Is that a bird?
The national bird of Cornwall.
Oh right, I can't.
Yeah, I was shouting to it. I thought it was a sparrow.
Here we have Dolby Mountain Nature Reserve. Right, we've just parked the cars. You can pause and read this, ladies and gents. But it talks about the various wildlife.
We're going way off the top of that map.
We're heading in that direction. There is a pathway just off this road a little way along, and that'll take us up over Dolby Mountain there, and onwards to Dawlish Cashin. And we're all ready to go now. It's going to be fun. Seven guys. It was 4 guys and 3 gals. And got all my equipment. I got my map. I brought my map with me. I mean, you know that regular viewers will know that one of the things I really love are maps. I've got loads of them. I've got loads of those Ordnance Survey Land Ranger plates, and I actually bought that years ago. I knew it would come in handy one day. This does remind me of Dartmoor. This bit desolate, empty. And for its size, you know, the Isle of Man is not densely populated. It has a small population for its land area. It's over 200 square miles, but I think there's only like about 16,000 people or something like that. This Range Rover here belongs to the Men in Black. It seems there are 2 number plates though, one for the car and one for the cycle rack. The cycle rack has an interesting number plate, FY18VFO, and I think that's code for your information, 8 verified flying objects.
The sound road to Dawlish Cashin. The road you stood on is Bear North, which is New Road. So we leave here now, up to Dawlish Cashin. Nice. The sound is actually a farmstead on the other side of Dawlish Cashin, as you drop back down there towards Glenmere.
Right, sure, here we go.
And the hazardous section does refer to the far side, because as you drop from Dawlish Cashin down to Glenmere, there's a very steep section that's just flat rock.
Yeah,
it's slippery for motorbikes.
the video for the guy who goes up to Dawlish Cashin, he goes up that way, but it's actually quite dry and there's no problems. Like, he's just on foot and he goes up that way.
Yeah, I think it's easily passable. It's similar to the I think it's the Bear Moor, the big road which goes from Dolby up to the car park at the end of the Erie Cushlin drive. We walked up there from Nyarble back to Erie Cushlin, and that's the same. If it's dry, it's easily passable, but you want to be a skilled off-road motorbike cyclist before you do things like
Definitely. This is the Isle of Man is very motorbike orientated. This is probably suitable for motocross off-road bikes. But I tell you what though, is walking here might be difficult. As you need, if you've got sturdy shoes like mine, you'll probably be all right. So we're heading uphill. We're making absolutely no attempt to disguise our presence. Although Ben, as you can see, is wearing his camouflage DPM kilt, especially. So that's the limit of his camouflage. But so the rest of us are just as we have come as we are. barbed wire fence because this is private land. Sometimes you see animals grazing. But it's very atmospheric here, Jackie, incredibly.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's not a hard road to walk on as long as you've got good shoes. And here is. It's peaceful, I can hear a few grasshoppers. That's it, that's all. The location. You know what it reminds me of most of all, Janet? Scotland. When I was in Scotland.
Yeah, it is.
How many times have you been up here?
Twice. First time I've ever been here was last year.
Oh, right.
And considering I only live just across the water,
That's pretty good.
I should have been before.
Well, it's easier for you to visit, yeah.
Yeah, I've never done it.
But it's just must have been to live up here in the 1930s, or 20s and 30s when the Irving goes down. It would have been remarkable, the isolation, modern communications. This is the road, well, the only way off the mountain and the only way away from the farm, as you're going to see, is roads like this, pathways like this. I probably haven't changed much in all these years.
I think this is better than it would have been in
Yeah.
the days of the Irving.
It may have improved.
Because they used to walk down the hill to Dolby.
Right, that's a tough
From
one.
here would be pointless because there was nothing here really. Just
Was there no
a
bus
spooky
stop?
farmhouse.
Yeah, there's no bus stop. I mean, the bus stop at Dolby, as you know from if you watch the video, so I'm not going to show you, but it's called Jeff the Mongoose, and this guy goes and visits the location by walking up the pathway from Dolby. That's the way to the bus stop at Dolby, which is, yeah, that's where the Irvings would have gone. They had to go that way probably a couple of times a day. Yeah, it'd be quite something. Whew. These they were like farmers. What sort of things did they do on their farm? You know?
Well, the farm became much diminished from when he bought it originally. He ended up selling off a lot of land, and they had some livestock, they had chickens and goats, but it was a really meagre living. I can't remember the figure, but ink was just his book. Jim Irving, or it might be in a letter, he points out that he's struggling to support his family on it's a ridiculously small sum of money every year.
Oh dear, yeah. They weren't wealthy people, and the skeptics will say, oh, they made up the Jeff's story to get money, but as Rory said, you know, she she couldn't get married, these other things, because she had a reputation. Look at that, that's some kind of pit there. Okay, we're making good progress, I think, ladies and gents. Some sheep, these may be the famous Manx sheep, which have 4 horns, 2 facing forward, yeah, and some curling around the side. Now, I don't think I can't see so well through the viewfinder, but maybe they develop as they get older. There's another one there. Yeah. But we have yeah, they could be the famous Manx sheep. The other's gone way ahead of us, but we're taking our time. Ladies and gents, we're here. We're actually here. I'm afraid that. Now this is not. Like I say, this is going to disappoint you if you're expecting something more spectacular. These stone walls left of the house. That there is part of the wall of the house.
Right, this is me, Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Oh,
Look at that. That's all that's left. That's all that's left of my old gaff. You see why I don't come back here very often? It's nout. It's just a pile of blinking rubble. You know, I'm glad I'm left. I really am. Not much to say. It's a bit of a disappointment, but there you go. This is all that's left of where Jim, Mum, Vory and dear old Mona the dog and yours truly used to live. Hey! I wish I hadn't pulled it down. They could have made it into a sort of monument, and they could have had one of them blue plaques there saying Jeff the Talking Mongoose lived here, 8th wonder of the world. Oh well, never mind.
no, Jeff. Sorry about that, Jeff. But this here is, that's basically the biggest part of the thing, is that's one of the walls of the house. Go around here, there's a well. This is the well where they got their water. This is the house well, which is now.
Right, go down there.
It's not very deep. It used to be deeper.
Yeah, is it what?
It's like probably about 6 feet deep.
To the first few inches.
Alright.
Yeah. So where was the porch of the house?
So
That's the wall there. Jackie remembers standing on the. You stood on the porch, didn't you, Jackie? Where the porch was.
if you step this way. So generally the pictures that you see, the house with the porch, the house is here, with the porch towards you.
Right, this is where a lot of photographs were taken.
The house is sort of built back into that bank.
Yeah.
So that pile there, is your sort of left-hand edge, and that's the back of the house over there.
Yeah.
So your porch will be somewhere here.
Right. This is the building. I'll show you some photographs of this later. But basically, the architecture is very similar to Erie Cushling. It's a lot less robustly built.
There's a mound there which possibly could be because of the hardcore for the porch underneath, and the house will be sort of from here back.
Yeah. As you can see, there's hardly anything left of it.
Because there's an 8 foot square parlour, and then I think 4 foot for the hallway, and then 10 foot for the main room on the right.
Yeah.
Saw a mountain pear up here last week.
Oh, did you? We saw one. Did you see the one we saw earlier?
Pear?
We saw like it was too big to be a rabbit, I'd say.
Oh, I didn't see it.
It was like Janet saw it, I think.
Last year. Oh, there's a hen harrier there.
Over here we have some gooseberry bushes, and Mrs. Irving actually grew gooseberries, and these seem to be one of the wild bushes that have they've bred since her time. So in the last 100 years, these bushes have probably grown. Just going to have a look at the gooseberry bushes. There's like a bunch here. Maybe an old wall.
On the advice of the expert forager.
Sure, there's some poo there from something. Are these Mrs. Irving's gooseberry bushes?
Yeah.
They've been, well, not the original ones, the descendants, they've grown since her time over the last century. And these are the gooseberries. Do they live that long?
I imagine parts die off and then the seeds will
Thank
grow.
you. So here's a gooseberry. I don't think they're ripe. I'll try one.
They're alright.
The darker red ones are right.
Oh,
They're fine.
found some pottery.
Probably shouldn't eat all the gooseberries because we want to take some on.
Not bad.
As a pottery expert, I would say that looks like some kind of pottery.
Did that come from? Let's have a look.
Pottery.
Sorry, but you know what I mean. I'm not an expert on pottery.
Oh, sorry. What have you found?
Some pottery.
Oh, it's a piece of chinaware. Yeah, possibly that belonged to the Irvings. What I've done. Yeah, so this is the road. This is the pathway they took. I think you go down here and eventually get to Dolby. Amazing. So this is the location. I've been wanting to come here for ages, and now I'm here. Imagine, it feels charged. It doesn't have a kind of energy to it, I'd say. I can't feel any presence of Jeff or anything like that, but it has a feel to it. See, they built a fence across where the house used to stand, right on where the plan of the house There's some more parts. There's parts of walls and things here, which was their garden. And those are the bushes that, or the descendants of the bushes that Mrs. Irving planted. Janet is just getting some samples for her little laboratory. Yeah. Again, it's a lovely view. It would have been, the people who lived here would have been look at this every day, which is beautiful. But it would have been a hard life for them. They had chickens and goats. Small farm. It was a small farm. And every time you wanted to get anywhere, you had to go down this pathway to the bus stop. We found some Jackie's found some more pottery. Looks like there's some glazed terracotta there. Some more. That may well have been used for crockery. That's the residents of Dawlish Castle used, possibly the Irvings.
Probably an outside pot or something.
Yeah. You see the glazing still on it, cracked.
Yeah.
The old, yeah. I'm being tested. Paul is checking me for contraband. Thank goodness for that. Can I get on the plane now? In the distance there you can see some modern farm buildings, or a modern farm building, definitely that post-dates Dawlish Castle. It's a shame that they demolished the house. I mean, one of the reasons the well actually is so shallow now, you can see it's only about 6 feet deep and dry. It's because they shoved the rubble into the well. They broke it up and just poured it down the well. The remains of the house, the structure, are all down that well. It seems a bit pointless, really. The people who did it, apparently started in 1971, they'd have had to walk up over their tools. You couldn't get a vehicle up here. And so everything they needed to demolish, it must have taken ages because they'd have had to break it up with hand tools. And expensive. Makes you wonder why. Why do they demolish it? Maybe the present landowner said, oh, I need to use this space, and they preserved it. But you know, it could be that it was, for some reason, somebody high up, someone in power, knew about Jeff. This is where the side of me comes out, and just didn't want the house becoming a shrine, even a derelict shrine, to that enigmatic mongoose. See, there is actually a way of getting into the building, over on the other side of the fence through that gate there. And I don't know, probably someone at the farm's watching me, but so it must be used to Jeff fans coming in here. And here we have this are the remains of the wall, or the garden wall, and part of the handmade part of the house as well. And have a close look around. Some people, we're not the only people who come here for the sake of Jeff, and some people leave talismans, little trinkets and gifts for Jeff. I haven't brought any myself. I can leave him a bit of water, sparkling water, that's all I can leave him. What's this? There's some things here. Is this? What's this here? There's a wall here, and there's these. Maybe just gaps at the bottom of the wall here. I'm standing pretty much where we'd be inside the house right now.
Paul, from what has had this Alex.
And it hasn't said a word. It is completely mute. That's the big eyelashes, just like in the paper picture. Down some more pottery, and you can see like scoring on the side.
One of them ginger beer bottles with sort of, you can still buy them in antique shops. So.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
something that was maybe used by the family. Yeah. On the Dawlish Cache and House site, down to along this path. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to go all the way, but if you walk down here, you eventually get to Dolby, and this is the route that Erie took when she went to school, and when the family wanted to do anything off the farm, they would walk down this rather stony path. I don't know what condition it was like in their day. It's almost 100 years ago, but go down this rather narrow path here. And as I said, the video I told you about, he comes up this way to get to Dawlish Cache, and you know, you can't access the area from Dalby. Just having a look down around here. I need to have a wee as well. There's a bit of privacy down there. Some boats you can see on the river, on the sea. Little sailing boats, I think. Just going to go as far as that gate and see what's there on the other side. We'll give it Jeff a little present.
So, explain what you're actually about to do.
Please do, drop by.
Just there in the wall. Side of the house.
Enjoy that, Jeff. Jeff. And there's Ben doing his...
Just the background.
I wants to get portraits of people here. That Janet has actually collected. Well done, Janet.
Well, hopefully some of them at least will take this year.
Something like that. You'll have something in your garden or your plant pots that are...
And we've got lots of gooseberries which will have seeds in. So
Oh, cool.
hopefully we can
Dawlish
all
Cache and
identify
gooseberries.
them. Yeah.
Now, just thing I've noticed, as you see here, I showed you earlier the Dawlish Cache and that building there, which I said was the house and marked on the map, even though the building doesn't exist anymore. I actually haven't come here and seeing that over there. I think that probably is the building that it's meant to be, and it's actually we're actually a short distance from there, actually on the path. You see, because the actual location we're on is on this path. So that is the building that's marked on the map, not the old house. So in Richard's bag here, that looks like a water bottle, but actually you might see there is audio at the bottom. That's actually some unusual leaves, some unusual scat that Jackie actually spotted lying in the grass. Now we don't know what it is exactly. We've eliminated certain possibilities. It's what was it you said, Jackie? It's not a cat, not a rat, not a long tail, not a. I said the R word. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not rabbit. There's no badgers on the island. There's no weasels on the island.
No squirrels.
Weasel anyway.
Yeah. No squirrels on here. No squirrels on the Isle of Man.
Stoat. It could be stoat, or it could be mongoose.
Yeah. So are there stoats on the Isle of Man? Right. Yeah. So we've got some we've got some scat sample, which, if it turns out to be a mongoose, is going to be very interesting. But we don't know yet. By the way, when I said long tail, right, there's a superstition on the Isle of Man. You never utter the R word, but the word spelled R-A-T. You never utter it. So when old fuckhead Geldof was over here performing his band, the Boomtown R words, they changed their name to the Boomtown Longtails. And luckily James Herbert was not Manx, otherwise his classic horror novel would have been called The Longtails, which just didn't sound right, did it? Anyway, so I think we're going to be leaving in a minute, but these guys have been like gathering samples. Janet's got some samples of plants, we've got some poo in Richard's bag, we've got some poo, and we've taken loads of photos of the well. So yeah. Okay, we're leaving Dawlish Cashin now. I've had a wonderful time here, we've been here for a couple of hours. We had a lovely time. It's great to see it, and now we're heading back along this pathway to the cars where we left. Gentlemen, we're back at Erie Cushlin, or nearly close to it, and we're now going to set up a trail camera in which we hope to capture an image of a mongoose or anything else weird, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, or anything like that, or aliens and orang pendeks, etc. Richard has these bags containing some unspeakable pieces of meat, or it's actually offal, it's just horrible stuff the butchers throw out, and we're going to, that's bait actually, to try and attract a mongoose. And Jackie's explaining mongooses, mongoose, whatever you call them, they love walls and stone walls and things like that. Is that the poo? Alright, Richard has dropped the shit, everybody, and we'll never let him leave that. We'll never let him live that down. And so this is the Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture for the Isle of Man government, and this is the actual location. It's their land which they are using as a kind of reserve. So we're now heading into the woods with the camera and the bait. Yes. Oh, I'll try not to disturb them. There's cuckoo spit on all these glasses. I'll try not to disturb any of them because they're actually eggs, insect eggs, but they're not solidified. So try to avoid stepping on them. They look like little bits of spit, that's why they're called that. Now this is incredibly spooky here. If you look at this place. I'm being surrounded, my head is surrounded by flies continuously. Hope they're not biters. And we have here Paul, I'll show you the camera he's setting up in a minute. And Janet and Jackie here too, and Richard. And this forest is very atmospheric. It's like none very much more so than anyone I've ever been in. As you can see, we're near the edge of the forest, so Ublis's paradox doesn't apply anymore.
Really important thing when you're setting camera traps is to turn them on.
I thought so, yeah. Yes, definitely.
I didn't do this morning.
Right.
Oh.
Janet, could you?
I can, if you can give me the...
Don't worry, but that happened in this film I told you about, the Nantinak, where they went to Alaska to try and capture the Nantinak.
And then you can do the commentary, so to speak, can't you?
Richard is doing his own version of what I'm doing.
Right, what's left between 3 cameras. You can a little bit too much out last time.
There is the trap there.
The Corvids enjoyed it.
The crows last time, that's all they got, but we're hoping to catch more this time. Richard is now ceremoniously dropping the bait. He's been bravely carrying all this around with him for ages. It's a heart there. And it's basically the giblet. In poultry it's called giblets. You know.
Flies are definitely going to mass now, aren't they? There we go.
That's number 1.
See if I can get any closer. The ground is very uneven though, so I've got to be careful. And blood as well has been dripped out there.
Right now, if you could turn that off now, Janet, because we've done that.
How do I turn it off?
On the one on the side, the red one. That's the one.
I can still see you, but is it not filming?
Yeah, it should. It will have a blinking thing saying record on it on the screen.
This here is the camera. And that's it, that's what it looks
Could
like.
you hang on to that?
Thanks.
Yeah. If you want some hand gel, we have some.
Yeah, I've brought some wet wipes as well.
That's it.
Good idea, mate, yeah. That's it.
We'll leave it a few days. I've always found it's better to leave them. The longer you leave them, the better.
Right, they get more material.
Yeah, when we're
Battery
testing out,
we should be good for 2 or 3 days anyway.
Oh,
we
cool.
were testing out camera traps in North Devon. When we left them up for a couple of days, all you got was the odd bird if you were lucky.
Okay.
When you leave them for a month or so, we got badgers, otters, foxes, deer, woodpeckers, and a woman having a piddle in the bushes.
Are you putting yours out in the woods, or are you going to put yours out down here?
Well, the best habitat for mongoose is when I was observing them in Nepal. They love like growstone walls because there's loads of insects, there's mice in them, and that's where they were hanging out.
The thing is, if we put it out in the open too much, crows are going to get it straight away.
What about the field in front
Yeah.
of Erie? Is there a wall there?
Yeah,
Those crows.
Crows, yeah.
yeah.
So you're better
What
undercover.
about having
But
one?
this is not definitely not a habitat for mongoose.
What about having one?
It's a pretty sterile environment now.
What about having one looking at the side of the mill,
Yeah, that'd be
where the wheel pit is at the side of the mill? There's lots of dry stone
Yeah.
wall in the mill itself.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
You could put some bits into the wall.
yeah.
Let's see what we gather on that little camera. Now of the woods. As you can see, we can see the edge of it now. Ooblis's paradox no longer applies. But when you're on the far side, you can't actually see to the other side of the woods at all, because too many trees.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Paul's just scanning,
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
scanning,
Nipple rings,
Janet,
everybody's got nipple rings.
scanning Janet just to make sure she's safe to get on the plane. Heading to, I suppose you could call them Steve's Ruins. It's a good name to give them. And when we're there, we're going to set up some more cameras, I think. So may capture anything, everything from naked witches to mongoose. We'll have to wait and see. There's lots of these things on the Isle of Man, these derelict buildings. They were usually old farms from hundreds of years ago. Nothing's left of them but the walls. Right, here we are at this structure here, which from now on I'm formally going to refer to as Steve's Ruins in honour of his royal verboseness. As you can see, it is probably this was a home of some kind centuries ago, and it's now completely derelict. Nothing's left of it. According to Jackie's instructions, Jackie thinks this would be a good place to install a. Oh, she. Oh, it's got bones, yeah. It's a dead sheep. Well, what's left? Yeah, there's some bones and some fleece.
Is that a thultan as well? Thultan.
Yep,
Is
and there it
that
is,
a
skull.
locktan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So we're going to install it somewhere here.
We'll probably have to leave the camera propped.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest
Yeah.
on that ledge up there, somewhere where bury the camera, rocks, it can't be too much, and just put a bit of base under it.
Can you reach? You're doing?
Yeah, I will do. I'll figure something.
Okay, guys and gals, we've decided to abandon the idea of setting up anything in Steve's Ruins because the dead sheep there, which smell will probably repel a lot of what the kind of animals we want to see. So we're now heading for this, which Paul calls it the sheep pen. I don't know exactly what it was, but there is another derelict building here, and we're going to try that instead. It's going to involve climbing over fences, but we'll find a way to do that. I've just let the others through the fence, through the gate, and I've decided to walk back to the location where we're going to put the next trap. There's Erie Cushling looking very spooky coming over the horizon there, see? It is a great place actually. It's a very when you see it from a distance like this, and it's this grey, sort of angular building sticking out of nowhere, it does look very, very spooky like. And I can't wait to watch that film The Dark now. I've got to watch it now. And what they're going to do now is find, there's Steve's ruins. To get to the sheep pen, we couldn't get to it because there was some kind of ravine, some kind of swampy ravine, and you can actually see a bit of it there blocking the way, so we had to come all the way back. Now Jackie actually pointed, sorry, I don't know how much you can hear of me, it's a bit windy. Jackie pointed out something interesting. There's some kind of cave, and in which the water comes out, and it's she saw actually stalactites coming down from the ceiling of the cave, which indicates it's quite old. It may be what's feeding the borehole that supplies water to the house. Either way, we're on our way back. This house is completely independent in terms of its electricity and water supply and sewage processing. It's very, very useful. I decided to walk back. It's just pleasant. It's such a short drive. Once you get in the car, you're there, aren't you? So there's a bench as well. You can sit on this bench and enjoy the view, which is nice. Great place to put a bench to sit on. So now we're going to see if I can catch them up on time. See if we can set up a trail cam in this particular location. We are now heading into Peel. Now that number plate has got to be one of the best. That's Paul's number plate. Bloody look at that UFO. Whoa, that's brilliant. We're now heading into Peel for our dinner. We've actually booked a table at the Creek, this pub that was very difficult to find last night. We did find it, and it's worth finding, at the Well at World's End kind of place, and we're going to have our dinner there. It is Wednesday evening, and I'm here in the Creek Inn in Peel, Isle of Man, and I'm here with all my friends who you've already seen. And there you go. And this is the end of my second full day on the Isle of Man, and it has been absolutely incredible. It's been one of the most amazing days ever. We've been to see Jeff the Mongoose's house, or what's left of it. We've set up trail cameras. We've walked through. We've spotted ships. Sorry?
Thursday.
Oh, is it Thursday? Did I say Wednesday? I'm losing track of days. It is Thursday evening. This is my second full day on the Isle of Man. It's the end, and I've done some fantastic things today. Can't believe it seems like we've been here longer. It honestly seems like we've been here much longer. So we're not even halfway done yet here on the Isle of Man. I really look forward to the rest of it. We're just having dinner here with my friends, and Richard there as well, of course, who is one of my friends. I'm not coming in, yeah. And we're going to eat this, and then we're going to go home to bed. Although we might do something before then. We haven't decided yet. So it's to do with Jeff. We'll talk about that later. Alright, so we're heading back to Erie Cushland now. Another sign that there's slightly less Big Brother stuff here on the Isle of Man is that I managed to sneak this bottle, which I didn't finish, out at the pub. Now, you can't do that in the UK because they take the damn tops off. And I know some people who work behind the bar and bars, and they said they have to do that so you can't sneak the bottle out of the pub and drink it outside. It's one of these stupid, pathetic prohibition laws that the UK still has. Here on the Isle, I think they're slightly more libertarian on the Isle of Man, generally, I think. Although I found out that, I did wonder, but you cannot actually spend Manx money in the UK, so I'm going to have to spend it over here. You can change the notes, but not the coins. So any coins left over, I'll keep as souvenirs, like I did when I went to Denmark. So this is Peel. It's about 9:30 at night. We're heading back to our home from home. Okay, guys, got another spooky sight for you. We're approaching Erie Cushland, and as we do, the mist is once again coming in. It's like a straight. I've got my seatbelt on. So I've got my seatbelt on. And the mist is coming in, as you can see, and it's like really, really spooky. It's just like a really weird. It's a really weird look. And it's like, it does give this kind of supernatural feeling. Like I say, it's not something I'm used to, seeing mist come and go like this. It's almost like Stephen King's The Mist. And, it's actually nearly dark now as we walk along. It's just that moment before darkness has arrived. And over the seas it is quite clear. But as we come back, you'll see Erie Cushlin in a minute. Looking really like it is literally like a sore thumb sticking out of this wilderness. It's just a perfect place for like horror movies or spooky movies and stuff like that. Look at that. I don't think the film can actually express how atmospheric this is. You still see the clear sea, but the mist is like descending on us like an envelope, like something just pouring down at us. It's I think pretty soon this house is going to be engulfed, and I feel the need to be indoors before that happens, because it'll digest us or something. It's really weird. Oh god, I just thought I'd show you this Manx Fiverr. Now I just looked up and found out that Manx money is actually not legal tender in the UK. We have the Isle of Man government £5, and there is Queen Elizabeth. That's actually, her real name is Lord of Man. They're going to have to design some new ones because of course, because of King Charles, who's now the new Lord of Man. £5, and on this side you have, there's Peel Castle, I see. It's all it's quite a simple, old-fashioned design of note, but it is there. Manx pound coins. You see, we have this one here, which has on it, I think there's 2 birds. I think they're maybe Max Ravens or something. And there's the Lord of Man. Again, these cannot be spent on the UK. Manx money, the Manx pound, is actually a separate currency to the pound sterling, yet it is on parity in terms of exchange rates. So the exchange rates of Manx currency is always set exactly the same as pound sterling. If they didn't do that, then probably it would no longer be possible to have UK money as legal tender on the Isle of Man. As it is, though, I mean, this is very different simply from like Scottish pound notes and things, because those can be spent in England. Manx pound banknotes can't be spent in England or UK, anywhere in the UK. So I'm going to have to change them, or either spend them here or change them. I can change them in a bank or post office, or I can I'll just keep them as souvenirs. If I've got any left over, I'll do that, just like I did when I came back from Denmark. All right, my friends. It's like it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm up. Got insomnia. I had some bad dreams. I woke up now after having some bad dreams. Nothing major, just I don't often have nightmares, but this was one where I wouldn't describe it, but it was a weird one. But I've got insomnia, so I'm getting up for a bit. I lay there for a bit to try and get back to sleep and couldn't feel drowsy, so the thing to do in that situation is to get up and have a wander around. I mean, it's not like I have to get up for work in the morning, most people aren't going to be out of bed before about 9 o'clock anyway, so I can have a little, just spend an hour or so up and then go back and try to get to bed, go back to bed and sleep again. I'm on my own down here at the moment, and well, maybe I'll say more later. I don't know if I may even have shown you the guest book where somebody said, I don't think I should show you the guest book, it's confidential, but somebody said they reported things going bump in the night. This place has been sort of in its current state for being let out for self-catering holidays since 2017, so it's quite recent. And it's someone reported things going bump in the night. In other words, the possibility this place is haunted. I've seen nothing so far to indicate that in this house. But there's a first time for everything. So I'm just going to mess around on the computer for a bit. I've just been watching a bit of video and stuff like that, and then I'm going to go to bed. Well, good morning everyone, good morning. It's Friday morning here, about 9 AM at Erie Cushlin, and well, the forecast today is for wet and windy weather, so it's a good job we got the Jeff House visit out of the way yesterday. I'll tell you a bit more about Jeff in a minute, actually, for those of you wondering what the hell I'm talking about. I'll give you a bit of background. But it's actually quite warm, despite, as you can see, I'm in a t-shirt, so despite the wet, it's actually quite warm, though much cooler than yesterday. And southern Europe, of course, is in the grips of heatwave Cerberus. Cerberus, the hound of hell, yeah. That's from Dante's Inferno. Reminds me, I must do the Inferno watch party at some point. But they've started naming the heat waves. In fact, there's another one called Charon. That's the ferryman. That's the ferryman that takes you over to Hades. You know, with the you pay the ferryman, etc. Anthony Peake, you know, cheating the ferryman. They're giving heat waves names. It says it all, doesn't it? All right, guys. So, I don't know what we're doing today. Probably a day for the museums. A lot of indoor stuff. We'll see what the others want to do. Anyway, I had the Insomnia last night. I wasn't the only one. The other Ben was actually up just before me. So, anyway, tea and coffee first, I think. We're in the lounge here at Erie, and I thought I'd give you a bit of background into what the hell Jeff is. I might even edit this in earlier on in the film, because just before we go to see the Jeff, to see the Jeff House. Right, so Jeff appeared in 1931 here on the Isle of Man, and it was a claim made by the Irving family who lived at the house. And what happened was it primarily came from the daughter, although some people say it was to do with the father Jim. There's the mother Margaret. The three of them lived in this house, and I'll show you a picture of the house in a minute. And they said that there was a talking mongoose that lived in the wall cavity of their house. Margaret actually first encountered Jeff when Jeff allegedly bit her. She saw some claws, a set of claws sticking out of a crack in the wall. She then reached out to touch them, and Jeff bit her. And then Jeff said in his eloquent way, "You need to disinfect that, Margaret. Go and put some iodine on it." And later on they had other discussions. Jeff apparently was a very erudite, intelligent and articulate being. He said he'd been born in 1852 in New Delhi, India, and somehow found his way to the Isle of Man, and was a very old mongoose. He'd been over 80 years old at that point. Somehow still alive, whereas mongoose actually don't live that long. They're rodent-like creatures. I don't know what exactly. And they had a kind of there was a strange sort of media frenzy over this, because the Irvings went public and said they got this talking mongoose living in this house. It was also known as the Dolby Spook, and many people who didn't believe it was literally a mongoose. They thought it was some kind of ghostly entity that was masquerading as a mongoose. The mongoose actually were released onto the island, as we've been talking about earlier, in 1912 from this house, which was a farm where the mongoose was released. The farmer released them to control the rabbit population. There's no foxes here on the island, and the rabbit population was getting too high. And a lot of people investigated this. Arthur Conan Doyle wrote about it. But so this went on for a few years. In 1935, Harry Price, of Helen Duncan fame, actually came over here and investigated it personally. Well, in a little while, actually, we're going to go and see the hotel where Harry Price stayed when he came over here. He did several other people did as well, such as Nandor Fyodor, who was head of the International Psychical Studies Group. Sounds like Hungarian, I think he must have been. Several other people as well. William Dennis was another. There were several others. And most of them, including a lot of local people, considered Jeff to be a hoax that the family promoted. They promoted it to get attention, hopefully money. The farm was in a bad way financially. Jeff, the Irvings had been forced to sell a lot of their land, and they wanted to make money, which wouldn't be the first time. But a lot of Voiry, she actually died. She was a very old lady when she died. She was in 2005. She died. She was 13 in 1931, which you can work out how old she was. She'd have been an old lady, and she actually used to come along to several paranormal groups, and a couple of people met her without knowing who she was, because she did move to the UK as she got older. And I'll show you some photos here. This is of course is the Wikipedia page here. There's a portrait of Jeff with the long eyelashes. Looks very much like the the Creature Richard House there. I did an interview actually about Jeff on Panmo Radio with Glenn Vaudrey. There was a newspaper article. See clues to the missing talking weasel, and they put it down to ventriloquism. They say weasel, not mongoose here. Schoolgirl may have powers of ventriloquism. That is an article that was published. That's the house, you see. I'll show you another picture of the house, a better picture of the house later. That's Voiry. She was a young girl. That's us in her school uniform. And here we go. That's Richard S. Lambert pointing to a break in the sod hedge. This is you familiar with these, like these hedges, the sod hedge? We saw some of them yesterday that line the roads in that area and the pathways in that area, as they did back then. And there's supposedly some teeth marks and footprints of Jeff. That's the dogs. That's the Mona, the sheepdog they had. And this is the house. You know, it's interesting looking at this house. It looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? Because in terms of its architecture, these big sort of brutalist gables, narrow oblong windows, very vertically narrow oblong windows. It's just like this building we're in now, Erie. Architecture. It must be a distinctive Manx style. And a lot of people say, and this is, well, Janet actually calls it the Jeff Researcher's Bible, is this book here by Christopher Josephy, Jeff, The Strange Tale of an Extra Special Talking Mongoose. There's plenty of oddity and charm in Christopher Josephy's Jeff, entertaining, unsettling. It is quirky delight. That's a review. There's a painting there of farm buildings, and that's Voiry. You can pause and read the back. Well, there's no actual blurb on the back, but there's the house. There's Dawlish Cashin, and there's James and Margaret. Published by, oddly enough, Mark Pilkington's house. Strange attack to press as his imprint, and that's strange. This edition, US edition, and you can see this is apparently a good summary of the mystery. Concrete gap where Jeff's voice was heard. That's Voiry there with the goats. That's a picture of him inside their lounge. That's going through the gate on one of those pathways we walked on yesterday. Now apparently it's Jeff there. See, that's apparently some photographs of Jeff. That's one of the pathways we were on that leads away from there, and with the big banks on either side, as you're familiar with from yesterday. And that is a gate post there with apparently what looks like something that is described as a mongoose. That's I don't think it's Harry Price's laboratory. Some more pictures from inside the house. And there's Voiry. There's her with Doggy. It's just interesting. I've read a little bit of it. I've just been reading through this. It's interesting. Yeah, there's the house there. In the middle of nowhere, that's where we were. And I'll be seeing that hotel in Glenmay later, or what's left of it. Harry Price, yeah, you don't forget a figure like that. This was a few years, interestingly, after he actually studied Helen Duncan in 1930. He came here to study Jeff in 1935, so that's 5 years after his Helen Duncan experience. So that's a bit of background to the mystery. Like, a lot of people just put it down to ventriloquism. They were basically, Voiry was faking the voices. He was speaking in through a crack in one part of the house, and it was coming out of a crack in the other part. So we'll never know now. But Voiry never changed her story. She said Jeff was real, even as an old lady. Interesting case, isn't it? Yeah. Richard's got some plans actually related to Jeff, which we'll talk about later. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the sea, you can see there's a significant swell. You see the lines of the waves there. Yeah, this is not a type for going out in a boat, let alone certainly not swimming. The whales, if they've got any sense, will stay well away from the shore. But you can still just about see the Mourne Mountains in County Down, Northern Ireland over there. They're still visible. Just going to do a bit of filming here. Now, Voiry's Church is somewhere up here. I've been past it loads of times. I didn't realise what it was, but it's first it's Voivy's Church, and then there's the pathway that an alternative way of getting up to Dawlish Cache, and there's a pathway somewhere along here. Oh, this I think maybe is this the church? I think maybe the funny one with the toilet sign there. Is this the church? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is Voivy's Church with the yeah, St James's Dolby. Now somewhere along here, I think it's near a pub. There is a pathway leading up to Dawlish Cache, and I think maybe a bit further along. But I'll let you know when we find it. Right, guys, this is Glen May, and I may have shown you this before. We're going to take a closer look at the Waterfall Hotel, and also the road leading, the alternative pathway that goes to Dawlish Cache, and it's actually a continuation of the path that we walked on yesterday, and it's actually quite easy to. You can just carry on. I mean, I showed you a little bit of it where it goes down here. Now, I can't remember exactly where it is. It may be. Is it that one? No, it's not that one.
Down.
Yeah. But it's it's a lovely little village actually here in the Isle of Man. Again, you get the same architecture. It's this classic Manx architecture, which I've identified. Now the hotel, I think, is on the left somewhere. And near the hotel is the pathway leading up to Dawlish Cache. Here it is, I think. Is it here? It's in here. Here it is, yeah. It's here. Yeah, it is. There it is. Oh, it's so steep. Jackie's car's struggling a little bit. Yeah. And here it is. There's not much. There's no point really getting out. Really, there's not much to show you. Except this is the pub, the Waterfall Inn Country Pub. Now this was a hotel in the 1930s. In 1935, Harry Price came to stay. It's actually derelict at the moment. There's not much. I don't know if there's much point getting out, is there?
No.
There's nothing much to see here. But Harry Price did stay there in 1935 when it was the Waterfall Hotel and boarding house. This has been redeveloped now. It'll probably end up as two separate houses. So this may be the last image ever of it as a hotel. Up here somewhere, we may have gone past it and not seen it. I think we may have. But somewhere around here is the road leading up to Dawlish Cache.
I think that's it. There, you go past it.
Did we go past it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think that is it.
Yeah. Maybe it's all I know is it's very rugged, and we didn't walk it, but the guy at Highland Trips, he actually walked it up. He walked that way up to the house, to what used to be the house. I'm not going to show you the video. I think maybe this one is it here now. No, it's alright. We'll find. I think that's it. There it is.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah. I think we'll check on the video, but I think that's it. We just went past it. If you walk there up there, you get to Dawlish Cache and point the opposite direction. Jeff, interestingly, Jeff was familiar with this road we're on now because he claims he used to ride it on the bus because there's a bus route that goes basically all around the Isle of Man on a circuit, and it still runs today. And Jeff, a cheeky little mongoose, claims he got on the bus and used to overhear people's conversations. How a physical mongoose could actually get on a bus, I've got no idea. I think the conductor would notice when he didn't pay his fare and think, what the hell is this creature doing on my bus? So obviously Jeff, as we say, was a zooform phenomenon, some kind of spirit or entity or tulpa, and that was what was riding the bus around the Isle of Man. We've come to this lovely little spot here. As you can see, there's like this little parking spot here in the middle of the countryside here, and we're going to go and visit a waterfall, and I forgot what it's called now. Is it the multi-vein waterfall or something? Something vein waterfall. Spurry vein waterfall. We'll see it in a minute anyway. We're walking down this mysterious path here across this prairie. Hello, fairies. I assume they're fairies here. And there's a stream going down here, and we're trying to find our way to the place where there's supposed to be a waterfall. So here we are. It says here the Monk's Road. Yeah. It's quite an atmosphere here, actually. Whose hat is that?
I don't know.
Someone's left their hat on top of the signpost. It says here, and it just says here about just preventing no pony tracking. And someone's left their hat there, and it says avian. Oh God, you can't get away from it, can you? Oh, anyway, we're carrying on through here. This little stream's leading into this ravine here, and at some point it turns into a waterfall. It's not, whose hat is that, I wonder? It's funny, we were talking about hats. It's just been sitting there.
Yeah,
We found it there. Jackie's wearing a very famous hat.
Top of a rider's hat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for a horse, yeah. Jackie's wearing a very famous hat. There's a bit of a story behind that, which we'll tell you later. This is actually getting a bit more precarious. We've got these steps to go down. It reminds me a bit of that place we went to in Devon, if you remember that. Whoops. But rather uneven steps. But we're going down into this ravine now. Wow. That's lovely. That's a lovely sight. This is the Spewit Vane waterfall here on the Isle of Man. In this amazing gorge here in this made by the stream. And there's like a little pond at the bottom. You can almost it's the kind of place where you find a pot of gold or something, you know. Ah, it's lovely. And this stream goes on down here. You can see there's a little pond there. Love the sound of it. Again, I'm not sure the film can convey the atmosphere of this place, but it is something like getting rainwater on the lens. It's like being in the Amazon jungle a little bit if it was nicer weather.
Yeah. Get into the bowl bit.
Yeah. And the stream carries on down here, so you can see. And Richard's filming me, and I'm filming him. Got you, Freeman. Yeah. Right. It's lovely, look at all these ferns and trees coming over. It's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? So let's see when we've done.
Oh, some fucker's gone and dumped a tyre. Bastard. Spoiling it. That's the worst kind of fly tipping imaginable. There's another shot of the waterfall you can see. There's that cave Ben was just saying there's one near where he lives, and these waterfalls could form these caves, and some of them go back a long way. You get big cave systems just from a little just a trickle of water over hundreds of thousands of years can carve a huge cave. And there's this. It's really quite. This is really spectacular. Okay, we come a short distance from the waterfall, slightly, and at the top of the ravine, and we found that there's this thing called the Monk's Road I showed you earlier. We're following it now because apparently it leads to an old chapel, although I gather there's not much of it left. Like many of these classic buildings here and on the Isle of Man, most of it's sort of derelict or gone. But you also see some stones around here that look like they've been arranged, old stones from a building, and there's some over there, you see. What I'll do is you can pause and read this. This here is the chapel. What's left of the chapel? Like Dawlish cushion. Like Dawlish Cashion. It's like almost all gone. But you can see a bit more of a shape to it. There's some kind of plaque over here, I'm just going to have a look at it. from the 10th century. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but always near, so loved, so missed, so very dear. That's lovely. That's lovely. And here is the chapel. Wow. It's really amazing here. Imagine the monks who came here. Monks tend to like places like this, peaceful places out of the way with a lot of natural beauty. You often get monasteries at places like that. And it's a lovely area to have one. Okay, we're actually on the TT circuit now. Do you notice how there's like padding around? We'll notice there's padding around the lampposts and the telegraph poles and things to act as protection, what minimal protection you can get on a road race. This is the TT circuit. We're actually going hunting wallabies. I'll say more in a minute. You can see there's the black and white curbstones, I think, are a part of that. And it's one of the most dangerous motorcycle races on earth. Also one of the most thrilling, one of the most famous. And it was happening just a couple of months ago. So it's still, the signs are still there, but it was happening. And you can see this, I think, is a part of it too. You see, look, this is to warn the cyclists. There's this thing coming here. That's probably stone wall behind that, so that's warning for the cyclists, the motorcyclists. Okay, we've reached a place with a wonderful name. It's called the Cronk, C-O-R-N-K, and we have to go round basically on this little bypass of the village. And then we turn, we come to a crossroads, and then we turn left towards Derby. Okay, we're heading along this road. We should be coming to a prison soon, which is where the old Scottish guy was put when he broke COVID lockdowns and entered the island illegally. We passed a place called Bala Sala, or as it's known, as the locals nickname it, Dr. Michael. And we should hopefully soon be, when we see the prison, we've got to turn right, and we're at Derby Airfield. That's our next stop, although this map's a little bit old, so I don't think the prison was there, so hopefully we'll soon be where we need to be. Is that, what's that there?
The airport.
Is that the airfield? Right. That's it?
Prison, yeah.
Is that the prison or the airfield?
I don't know, like, look.
Right.
I went on or something, look at this is on the road. Thank you.
Yes. We need to know if that's a prison or airfield. You don't want to get...
This is Erie.
Okay, yeah. You don't want to get those two things mixed up, or you might find you go on holiday and have a very, very different experience than one you expected. So,
Transport Museum.
that's it, yeah. That's it.
Motor Museum. That's a motor museum.
What's that say? Okay. Is this it?
Here we are.
Welcome to Derby Industrial Estate. Right. Right, okay, we'll find it anyway. We're at a place called the Old Guardhouse, which is an airfield. It used to be an airbase in World War II, and I'll show you the dummy they've got over there in a minute. The Isle of Man doesn't have its own armed forces. The UK military handles defence. Yet there have at times been, in wartime, been UK bases here on the Isle of Man, and this was one of them. And you see that poster over there. For victory. It's RAF daring do stuff. And so we're just having a cup of tea, and then we're going to move on. I'm just going to show you the thing over here. This is a RAF radio operator here, or what one looks like here at the base. And the reason we come here because apparently you can see wallabies at times out on the field.
Come on!
Wallabies like to go out there and eat the grass. However, unless you're looking for ducks, it's not the sort of day for wildlife spotting. The rain's come on much harder now. But we will endeavour to continue looking for wallabies, and we might see some. Okay, guys, you may be wondering what we're talking about wallabies. I'm not in focus. Why am I not in focus? Alright, for some reason, oh that's better. Right, the reason we're talking about wallabies is there are wallabies on the Isle of Man. Now, wallabies are native to Australia, so you may wonder what the hell they're doing on the Isle of Man. The reason is, someone escaped from a wildlife park a while ago and they bred wild, and there were no deer on the island, so they've kind of they've taken over the ecological niche that the deer have, and as a result there are apparently many thousands of them now on the island, so we're here to try and spot them. But we could easily spot them near Erie as well. Yeah, now the guys have reported to me they found some strange tracks in the woods, and they thought they might be deer tracks, and we found out there are no deer on the Isle of Man. Someone said they might be sheep, but then sheep don't normally go into the woods. It could be several other things. There's no other things that can make those kinds of tracks other than wallabies. So wallabies are like little kangaroos, and so we're going to see if we can spot some. Okay, we've come to this place called Kirk Andreas, and we're now looking at this here. This apparently a famous cross here. I think it's a war memorial. It's an inscription that's very low. Maybe you guys can pause and read it better than I can. These are names of people who may have died in the war, or one of the wars, a war, or maybe more than one. Success in the 1914-18 war, and this is the 1939-45 war. Good grief. Look at all those names. These are all the men who died in World War II from this parish, which is actually a very small place. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 young men died in a single parish. Just going to go in and have a look at the church now. The weather's bloody horrible. Anyway, I'll see you in a minute. Let's go inside. This is a record of all the rectors of Kirk Andreas, and they go back to 1188. That's how old this is. And you can pause and read them all. They've got every single one written down, all the way to the present day. This is the most latest one. Ian MacDonald's Skidmore. Right. I'm going to go and have a look at the church. Runes and Ogums. You can pause and read that, guys. That's Ogum, which is an old Irish script. And here is the inside of the church. It's dark, I feel like I need to whisper. Hallowed halls, hallowed areas. I just discovered something really shocking, guys. Alright, this tower, believe it or not, used to be twice the height that it is now. So you imagine if it had been extremely tall, an extremely tall church tower. I mean, when you consider, I'll show you the photo later. Well, there's a photo in the guidebook. If I remember, I'll show you the photo. But imagine that twice as tall. And it was knocked out. Half it was demolished, and they rebuilt the roof there on instructions from the Royal Air Force, because apparently interfered with flight operations. Bloody pilots can't even see where they're going, and they worried planes might crash into it when they were taken off from that airfield we showed you earlier. Oh dear. Anyway, what's done is done. It's still a lovely place. Still a very nice church with a great energy. You probably can't hear me very well. The point of air. There's the lighthouse over there. It's the most northerly point of the Isle of Man. It's nesting season for the birds. There's a foghorn. Look at that, eh? Don't see many of them now. They've been actually shut down over the years. Yeah, there's a little lighthouse there. Hey guys. That's for you know that UFO number plate anyway. There's your foghorn there. Very rare to see these nowadays. To warn the ships with a very loud noise. It goes. And the lighthouse does the same visually. There's one of the birds, I think. And that's it, we're at the end of the land. It's very windy today. It's very windy. Look at the waves, I can see the white horses on the sea. All right. This is the most northerly spot on the Isle of Man. Now, it's also the point on the Isle of Man closest to any other land, which is Dumfries and Galloway in Scotland, which is in that direction. On a good day, you can actually see it. And of course, my romantic story about the jet skier is that he crossed this sea, not in weather as bad as this, luckily. And that's as far as you can go on the Isle of Man. And no further. There we are. Yeah. Time to go back, I think. Guys, I'm actually in the UFO mobile right now, Paul's car. Jackie's, I think it's Janet's in Jackie's car.
Hope so.
I hope so. We haven't left anyone behind. You don't want to be trapped up here at airpoint on a day like this, point of air. And we're going to head now. First we've got to get some food. Best place there is probably Dundas Tesco. And then we're going to go back to Erie Cushlin. And well, Richard's got some, I won't tell you right now, but Richard has something planned for this evening. So it's Paul's driving, and we're going to head off.
Really outside.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see anything. Paul and I have been driving through very, very thick fog here on the mountain pass by Snaefells. And we follow with the TT course as well. Paul's been pointing out all the sites, but really they're not really sites because it's like pea soup out there. But we'll be over it soon. We've reached the peak of the pass and we're now descending to Douglas, where we're going to do our shopping before returning to Erie Cashlin. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back in Jackie's car. And you'll be pleased to know all of us survived the journey over the mountain pass. Yes, it was pretty hairy at some point. Someone fell down a bit in it. Someone fell down a crevasse. Others were attacked by wild yaks. A couple of frostbite cases, but apart from that, we're all alive and well. And now we're heading back to the comfort and safety of our own little Shangri-La. Yes, Erie Cashlin. Guys, we're approaching Erie Cashlin. It's one of the spookiest approaches yet. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the rain is driving down the hill against the house. Yeah, it's quite something. There we go. And there's no cars parked, which means they're hiding around the back to pretend they're not here. Right, guys, it's now coming up to 9 PM. I'm just going to look outside, and it is pretty horrible. Ben is braving it because he's a smoker, but it's actually not very nice out here, is it? It's actually getting worse. The wind's getting up and it's getting wetter, if that's at all possible. Yeah. And we can't. The sea has vanished. It's exactly like Jeff or whoever said it described. You know, just riding in the mist. He described as Erie Cashlin as. So I'm going to go back indoors as quick as I can. There we go. Now, now we've just ubiquitously done now. The shit is here. Right, that's the shit from. Do you remember the poo we picked up? I left it there so it doesn't put people off their dinners. Now, something very interesting happened today, right? Something very interesting indeed. You know that story about the dog? There's several different versions of this story. Basically, a dog who sees his own reflection in a mirror or in the river or in a stream or something, and he thinks it's another one. We've had something very, very similar as well, because it's come to our attention. There is a rumour circulating this island, and on the Isle of Man, it appears that when one person knows something, everyone knows it. It's basically like the hospital porters at a hospital. You know, it's like, you know, if you start a night shift and you're having a row with your wife, no one knows it. By the third night, everyone knows it. It's that sort of thing. We were a bit worried because we heard that there was a film crew touring the island making a movie about Jeff, and we thought, who are they? Why haven't we seen them? They're out there somewhere, but we haven't seen them. Isn't it an odd coincidence they're here the same time that we are? And after a few more questions, it became clear that the film crew they're talking about is us. This rumour has circulated because we've been going around with, some of us have cameras, and we've been and we've been asking questions and talking about Jeff and things like that to various people, including the two main paranormal groups here. And this film crew they're warning us about is ourselves. We have triggered this rumour. As it happens, we're not making a professional movie about Jeff. There is one coming out soon. We're just like, essentially we're on holiday and we're having a bit of fun. Really, that's what this is all about. We are doing serious research in the meantime with trail cameras and things like that. But this is not a serious movie project, but this is how it's been interpreted by the rumour mill, by the scuttlebutt of the Isle of Man, which is obviously for non-hospital porters, it's a phenomenon to behold. Anyway, guys, I'm glad I'm indoors. In a moment, well, I won't tell you exactly what Richard's going to do just yet, but Richard has some plans for this evening, which I'll reveal to you later. I won't be filming them, all right, but later on I'll tell you exactly what we're doing. All right, so Richard, I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to be helping Ray Davis out of the Kinks stuff a duvet into a bread bin.
Exactly. There you are. He's revealed the secret. What's this machine for, Paul?
So it's now a radio transceiver. I'm just tuning around trying to find digital modes where people are sending by radio digital information. I'm trying to decode it with a mobile phone, and I'm having no luck whatsoever.
Alright. Is this a way of contacting spirits? Is it a method to be used to contact the previous owner of this house?
Not especially, but the previous owner of this house is was a radio amateur. So it's a bit of a thought experiment.
He'd appreciate us doing that, I think, yeah. Oh, right, interesting.
Janet, what was his call sign?
It was
5 Charlie Zulu.
yes, 5CZ, 5 Charlie Zulu.
So his amateur radio call sign was 5 Charlie Zulu, which is very early. Colby
Colby.
was here when? Second World War time.
Yeah.
So 39 to 45.
He was a keen ham, as they called him, radio, amateur radio enthusiast. Let's see if we pick it up.
So we'll just tune around and try and find somebody. The problem we've got is because we're on the west side of the island, with the mountain behind us, anybody we're going to find is going to be in the island, and the weather is absolutely atrocious. So we can see whether we get anything.
Yeah, guys, we're just sort of getting ready here. That's the brick that Richard brought back from the Dornish cache, and of course you know what that is. Just getting ready to go. I'm here in my bedroom right now, and the wind is whistling outside. It's very atmospheric. It was a dark and stormy night. You can hear the wind whistling by the door. As you guess, okay, we are about to do a séance. I'm not going to film within it. I'm leaving my camera up here, but I'll report immediately as soon as it's over. Okay, if I come back. If I don't come back, tell them all I love them and all that sort of thing. Okay, thanks. Welcome everyone. Well, it seems like the wind is gone. Well, it's not. The wind is not gone, but it has compared to what it was last night. Things have cleared a little bit. I must apologise for not doing any more videos yet. I'll explain why again in a minute when we're in the car. But the cats are trying to burn us out again. We were going to leave at 9 o'clock. Now we're leaving at 8:30. So none of us are ready. Hey, good morning everyone. Like I said, sorry I didn't film last night or this morning, because this morning's schedule changed very abruptly, like I just explained at the last minute. And last night, what happened last night was really quite astonishing. As I said, now, a lot of you will not approve of what happened last night, and they'll think, Ben, why did you do this? But we did hold a séance with the Ouija board. It was filmed, although it's not. I'm not going to show any footage of this on my channel. But we did. Richard Freeman, our friend here, who's in the front seat right now. He conducted an attempt to contact the spirit of Jeff or anyone else who might be willing to communicate with us using the Ouija board. We sat around the table, and we used the planchette, then we changed to a glass tumbler. And we put our fingers on it. Funnily enough, it seemed to work only when Richard and I were touching the tumbler for some reason. And we did receive some messages, but they were very garbled. It seemed to be a series of random letters, more or less. We looked for secret codes, we looked for words in the Manx language, things like that. Couldn't find any. But it was quite. It was still quite interesting. And at the end of it, I was struck by a wave of drowsiness, unlike almost anything I've ever felt before. I literally had to go straight to bed. I didn't even say goodnight to anyone. I just went upstairs and went to bed. So it was a very, very interesting evening. Now, nothing's happened since then. Or Richard, has anything weird happened since then for you? No, nothing's happened. So nothing's weird happened. So that's it. It was interesting taking part, and thanks to Richard for doing that. But it's always worth a try. You don't always get results, but it's always worth a try. We're now back in the fog again, and we're heading for Port Erin, where we're going to get a train. This is a day of train journeys, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just going to do a little piece. We're just heading for our cafe now. We're going to have to have a slightly rushed breakfast now, and then we're going to have to get the train. But I think the panic, the rushing around will soon be over. I think we've hit a little something I've noticed probably about.
This one. Going that
Well, what's wrong with this one here?
What about trying?
Can we get? What about this one here?
It could do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've.
Yeah.
I think when most people go on holiday,
Yeah.
they have a kind of system. I mean, either they all just do their own thing, and they sort of meet up at certain points, or there is one person who's. Alright, things have calmed down a little bit now. We have actually got into the cafe. We do have time to eat our breakfast. So things are easy now. I think the sort of like the rushing around the last hour or so. It's something I've noticed. I suppose as a group we're slightly different to most holiday makers. It's when I've been on holiday. Either there's sort of like a system emerges when you're with group dynamics. Either everyone just does their own thing and they meet at certain points, or there is a kind of leader, usually tacitly and informally appointed, who makes all the decisions when it comes to logistics. But we've got neither. We being the rebellious anarchists that we are, we have neither. So that's how we've got into this situation. But don't worry, everything's solved now. We've got our train tickets, we're having breakfast. So I've calmed down a little bit now. You'll be glad to know. Yes. You know where we were? We were actually, I showed you that locomotive the other day. We're actually about to ride on the train. This is the actual train, and you can just see it's just steep, so you can just see it starting up over there. Yeah, look. These are real original these are real coaches. Look, no smoking. F9.
First class?
Oh, of course, yes. Where else? Oh, you have these little compartments here. Like they're not Pullman carriages. There's no corridor. Let's go straight along to the end here. Right. This hook's on there. Yeah. I've been on a coach train like this, a bit like this, and it was in North Wales. There is one that goes down the Dee Valley. I don't know if you know about that one, Paul. It's the Dee Valley in North Wales. Okay. There's an old steam train that goes down the Dee Valley between Llangollen and Corwen, and I went on that one, and it's like a corridor. It's like a Pullman thing.
Remember, this isn't a preserved railway.
This is a reproduction.
This is just public transport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. So it's not. Yeah, but so this is not like some kind of museum piece like the one in Llangollen Railway. It's not a museum piece, but I'll tell you what though. You guys might have noticed that station is designed to look authentically like. It's designed to look authentically like an original. What's the word? An original steam railway, isn't it? Everything's designed. Do you see the furniture of the station, the design?
Well, this is all original.
The ticket office.
This has just been operating since whenever it started operating. It's just they haven't updated to diesels, and it just runs as a steam railway.
Based.
All the railways are just part of the public transport system.
Based. Hey guys, if you come out here, you can watch they'll test the engine in a minute. Let's see. Where's Janet? Oh, right. Here we go. Hey Janet.
Or look out of that window. Yeah. Lift it slightly, pull it towards you, gently let it go down. Gently let it down into the door.
Hey, look, there's the guard's van. He's got a little red flag there. I think they have a green flag when they want to go. I love these old trains. This is something else that me and David Icke have in common. We love these old railways. There's this old, it's called Kissack. This old loco. God, one thing you can't convey on a video is the smell of coal smoke and oil. You can't convey that on a video. So obviously now coming along here, it's going to attach itself here, I think. It's always going to attach here. You can see the stains from the smoke there, you know. Well, that's how you tell a really old railway station. Nottingham was like this. If you look at the brickwork, the cement between the bricks is black. It's stained by even though now we have diesel and electric trains, by previous steam locomotives permanently stain the cement.
recording for a YouTube video?
I am, yeah. I do a like little, just like a travel vlog, you know. I've been on a couple of these old railways. There's one in North Wales I went on. It's really nice.
Which one?
There's the Llangollen to Corwen.
Have you been to the Isle of Man Railway before?
No, not that one.
Well then, welcome to the Isle of Man Steam Railway.
Is this one, is it?
Yep.
Oh, lovely, thanks.
Our only steam railway on the Isle of Man ranges back from the 1870s. Our first line was the Pier line, opened in 1873, and then this line opened the year after.
Right. Of course, there's a real piece of history. You've never upgraded diesel and electric.
We tried. We had a diesel rail car or two from Ireland years back, and we still have the bits of them around in the sheds, but haven't used them in years.
Well, I'm glad you haven't, mate. It's really unique, you know. Let's see the locos now
We do
attached.
still have diesel shunters now. We've got a simplex, two of them. One of them we use for shunting the trains in the morning,
Oh, right.
and the other for a full-on diesel shunter at Douglas Station.
Cool, right. Thanks very much. Right, here we go, guys. We're going to get on the train. Oh, here we go. Right, now we're getting into the compartment here. This is like, the gentleman's just been giving me a little history. He says this has been going since 1870, this railway.
If you notice, the windows have belts on them.
Yeah, is that the way old trains do? Because I've seen those before. Yeah.
It's just to keep the trousers on.
Yeah. Right, you can always see.
Victorian windows had trousers, so they needed belts.
That's it. Yeah. But you can see here, this has been running since 1870, and it's always kept the steam trains going. Wonderful, guys. Well, anyway, we're going to head off now, and we're going to go all the way to Douglas. This line ends at Douglas, so I'm looking forward to this.
It's the size of them to the other.
Yeah, we're underway now. Look at
Wow, they're literally twice the size. Yeah.
We're in a carriage quite near the front in a compartment, and you can see the smoke from the locomotive, like going all over the place, twisting and turning in eddies, and there we are. The birds probably don't bother. The birds should be used to it by now, living next to the railway line. But look at that, that's quite something. You know, it'd be banned nowadays. Probably Klaus Schwab would say the emissions are too high. You will ride in an electric train and you will be happy. But I don't know. I love these old railways. It's not like they're everywhere. You know, they're not going through cities. It's just. I'm really glad they preserved this. There's your level crossing we just passed, and it's a great way to see the countryside. It really is. And we're in this little compartment. You can't get out of it. You're literally locked in here until the train reaches the station, and then they open the doors. So we're just got to wait until we get to our station. We're going to the end of the line in Douglas, so we've left Port Erin there, and we're going all the way to Douglas. When we get there, we're going to take a ride on a horse tram, and maybe take an electric train further to Laxey, which is there. There's a famous water wheel. It's actually this water wheel, which I'll show you for real, hopefully. And if the weather's nice enough, we'll go up Snaefell, which is the tallest mountain on the Isle of Man. We were there yesterday, weren't we? But it didn't look like it. It looked like the inside of a ping pong ball. But hopefully, if we go there, if we get to go there today, it'll look a little bit different. And there's other people filming there because we met the train going the other way. That's heading from Douglas to Port Erin, and we've just he's just stopped here at Castletown. So there's a nice little spot here we've got. We've got some sports grounds, and as you see, it's still a bit breezy, but not excessively so like it was last night. Nice station. This is, yeah. This is, you see, Bala Sala, another Bala Sala, or as the locals call it, Dr. Michael. You've done that one, Ben. Oh, moving along. By the way, it's sort of appropriate to do this here. This is what I forgot to show you yesterday. This is exactly how tall the tower was at Kirk Andreas. An enormous tower. I don't know why they put such a hugely tall tower on it, but that was it. That was the tower before 1945, and this is it now. After. It was truncated by the Royal Air Force. Such a shame, isn't it? Anyway, there's the Kirk Andreas. That's the Kirk Andreas book celebrating its bicentenary this year. So, or did in 2021, pardon me, 2 years ago. So yeah. Well, welcome to Douglas.
Yeah.
We've arrived at the end of our journey. We're now going to
Did I just leave that, or did you pick it up?
we're going to the horse trams, aren't we? We're going to do the horse trams. There's our locomotive there. It's just turning round now. It's going to go back now to me too. It's going to go back to Port Erin. That was interesting. That was very, very good. I think people always used to take these. We used to ride in trains like that all the time years ago. We take it to Douglas Station. Yeah, Douglas is the nearest thing the Isle of Man has to a city. It's the biggest settlement here and the capital. And this is their station, which I say they've reproduced this. It's in all. It's done very authentically to make it look like it's sort of old. So even though this is like standard public transport, it's specifically designed for the nostalgic look, as I've often explained. There we are.
I'll take and do that.
There we go. We're going to go in here now. These old pictures here. Look, these old posters. Isle of Man, 1928 sailings. There's a steam packet company. There's the flapper enjoying herself. Another one here. Look, 1929 Isle of Man tours. Yeah, tourism's been a big thing here for a long time. So we're heading off now, and we're going to do something else, I think. Well, welcome to downtown Douglas, guys. Quite impressive, isn't it? Very different to the rest of the Isle of Man. We're trying to find the horse trams now. We're going to go on another vehicle. Oh, look at this, guys. This is kind of the Manx Riviera, the Douglas seafront, and there's the ferry terminal. As you can see, there's that the castle. The Manxman's in it, as you can see. We're entering service any day now, and we go along here, and there's lots and lots of buildings. These fine buildings like that theatre there. Very nice. And here's the ubiquitous war memorial. You can't get away from them. But there you go. Oh. That flag makes me feel nostalgic and homesick. But yeah, here we are. Oh, look at that. I can't bear these memorials. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've come here to the horse tram terminal. It's the Dartmoor Railways, and this is the second railway we're going to go on. And it's literally what it sounds like. It's trams. You can see one there being drawn by horses. And this is the next step on our little journey. There is the horse tram.
Might go to the end.
Right?
I don't know whether it goes to the
Stop
end.
by the bus stop, yeah. By the tram stop, sorry.
Douglas Bay horse tram. There we are. There we go, guys. We're on the horse tram. Very strong Shire horse in front of us. There's the horsey in the front. Very strong horsey there, pulling us along. Looking a bit rough now, but this is our next road of transport, another railway. It's the Manx Electric Railway. Well, the weather's got much worse now, but we're heading up on the electric railway. See out the front, there's the driver's open plan thing, like the horse. Like they got this closed coach here, and they've got an open plan one, like the horse tram. Okay, guys, we've reached. This is Laxey. Unfortunately, the weather isn't very nice, but we just got off the railway here, the little electric railway, and we're now going to go and see the world's biggest water wheel. Let's have a look. Let's find out. We've got to find everyone now. Here's the Laxey cafeteria. This is the mountain railway. Look, the Snaefell Mountain Railway. It's another electric. We'll hopefully be getting that one later if we've got time. Fingers crossed. Okay, leaving Laxey now. There's been a change of plan. We're not going to be able to get a chance to see Lady Isabella today. That's the world's biggest water wheel. I've got a photo of it to show you anyway. It's actually on the front of the map. But we had a choice really. As time's getting on, you could either go to the Snaefell summit or stay here and go to see the water wheel. Now this means the fellowship is split. We're going one way, and then Janet and Paul are going to go see the water wheel, and me, Jackie and Richard, we're going to go for the summit. So it's about a half-hour ride, and we'll let you know when we get. Apparently, these conditions up there are pretty rough, but that might change.
Your journey to the summit will take about 30 minutes. Take you to the highest point on the Isle of Man. The summit is 2,000 mines, produced over 11,000 tonnes of zinc ore. That equalled the entire UK production of the same mineral for that year.
Oh shit, that's sitting down here.
Got the window here.
Thanks very much, Jack. Thanks very much.
It doesn't open anymore.
It's probably for safety or something. There we are.
Yeah.
There is Lady Isabella, and she's turning. Thanks very much.
All right.
Yeah, but the driver has actually very kindly allowed us to stop the train, very kindly to allow us to see Lady Isabella, and that's what we've done. So you can see. So you have had a brief look at that, but you can actually go and visit it up close, which we might get a chance to do later or another day. This is the road we were on yesterday. I saw that hut. There's that footbridge. This is the bungalow station. See the footbridge there?
The station building was built in 2002. The oldest station takes its name.
We actually drove past here yesterday, and it was equally foggy yesterday.
Tramway and electrical power company around 1900. It was demolished in the 1950s.
This is
This is the bungalow. Anybody want to go to the Victory Cafe or to get off at the bungalow? This is your station. Thank you.
This is the only stop on the line to the summit. So
Is this it then?
we're going for the summit.
No, this is just the bungalow. This is
We're getting close to this Snaefell summit now, and it's absolutely, you can barely see the field at the side of the railway track. It's really, really thick fog up here. Apparently it's quite windy too, so we've got to be careful. But we're nearly there now, so you never know, but the clouds might blow away during our short visit to this very special place. Alright, this is the summit here. I don't think you can hear me very well. This is the summit here at Snaefell. There's nothing to see anywhere. There's that kind of raining. Stay there. It's just really windy. See, snowing slightly. To leave sooner than we thought because the next train has been cancelled, so I don't know how much you can see me because there's still rain on there. Yeah, you probably couldn't hear my voice very well, but that's some of the strongest wind I've ever experienced. I mean, someone who's an experienced mountain climber actually advised me not to do that, but I did anyway, and I've lived to tell the tale. And what we got to do, but believe it or not, it's actually a little bit of snow. I mean, it wasn't just wind; it was rain. It was kind of sleet. There's a little bit of snow in the rain. And this is the famous mountain top cafe. But anyway, what you just saw was the summit of Snaefell Mountain, which is the it's actually called Snowy Mountain. It's a Norse word for snowy mountain, and that's the highest point on the Isle of Man. And on a good day, you can see. Well, he said you could see almost everything that we can't, but that's life. Yeah, that's part of living in the British Isles. You have to make do with the weather, you know. You have to make do with whatever weather you have. And I'm still glad I came here. Well, welcome to the highest toilet on the Isle of Man. Hey guys, we've had to come home. This is actually going to be the last train now until the weather improves, which means we got up here only just in time because of the strength of the wind, which you've just witnessed, means they're not going to send any more trains up from Laxey until it improves. So we're now going to leave this massive cloud we're in. It could easily be just like a floating platform in the clouds, all I can tell, be buffeted by the wind. And we're going to head back down to the relatively calm and I must say dry and conditions in Laxey. And there is the Laxey wheel, an old photo of it. And I've got a photo of it here actually, it's a Laxey wheel. We're now, as you can see, having our rewarding drinks in this pub. We have survived. We've gone up to the top of Snaefell and come back. And I'm glad I did it. If someone had told me it was going to be that bad and we were only going to stay there for 10 minutes, I'd still have gone. And I'm really glad I did it, yeah. And yes.
What did you see?
Well, cloud and rain and a bit of snow.
Couldn't you see the wheel from the train?
Oh, you couldn't see 20 feet from the train. Oh,
even at the bottom
you could see the wheel. Yeah, they stopped. They actually very nice. Actually, the driver stopped the train so we could see the Laxey wheel. Yeah, and we could see it. It was clear.
Because he knew you weren't going to see it.
Yeah. Once we got a little bit higher, they went in the cloud. We did actually reach over 2,000 feet when you get to the top of the Snaefell. It is actually 2,100 and something feet high. So that's a pretty tall mountain, and it was quite something. That's quite an experience. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed it too. Panmo TV viewers coming with me on that little adventure, and with Richard and Jackie. See ya. Oh, this is where we were. This is Snaefell here. 61, that's the metres.
When we get to
that's the summit there, and there's the summit station. I took a walk up to there.
and
And you can see that blue symbol means it's area of there's a great view, but not today obviously. And yes, over 2,103 feet. Very, very high up. Highest point on the island. Good morning, it's about 5:20 on a Sunday morning here at the Isle of Man. The others, three others, Paul, Janet and Richard, have gone off to look for wallabies up near Kirk Andreas and the airfields where we were the other day. They think they only come out mostly in the early mornings, so they're going to try to see if they can find some. The others are all upstairs in bed. I was up early. The other Ben, he was up early too. He's going to try and go back to bed. He's a bit of a night owl as old Ben. The weather today, I'll show you. Ooh, I must be careful, let the door blow off his hinges. It's actually, there we are. It's actually much, there we go. It's actually a lot drier. It's not raining right now, and it's, as you can see, it's not that cold, but the wind is up again, and it's forecast to last all day. I think I might. I've got plans. I've got my own plans actually for the next 2 days. I've only got 2 full days left on the Isle of Man. I've got plans for those, which I think may be different to the others. So I might be going on a couple of personal expeditions, which only for me, I think. And of course, you, the Panmo TV viewer, will be the only people actually going on those. Yeah. I was thinking over yesterday. I've actually been reviewing the videos. I've got my laptop here, so I can actually copy the videos to the laptop from my camera, which is good for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's backup, if I drop the camera down a cliff or something, I don't lose the footage I've gathered. Secondly, I can review it properly, in situ, on location. So I can actually do on location roving reviews or just analyses of the footage. Technically, I could do some editing as well if I wanted to. I've got a simple editing suite here on my laptop, but it's not as good as the one I've got on my home desktop. So I probably won't do any actual editing here. But I've been looking over yesterday's footage, and I'm particularly impressed with the one I did where I actually went to the site of Snaefell and all that. As I explained, I'm glad I did it. I was still, even if I'd known the weather was going to be that bad, I'd have done it. It was really quite an experience to stand there in all that wind. I suppose it's something annoyed me just in terms of like relationships and stuff like this, and I want to just bring up a subject which I've talked about many times before, especially in my video about my two videos I did about my letters to Eric. That was it, the nice guys one. The two videos I made about nice guys and the letters I had from Eric. This young, I think he's quite young. He got in touch with me asking for advice, and it's to do with the fact I know how this world works, and I wish it didn't. I wish it didn't. I mean, you have to face the way the world is and the society you're actually in. I think I'm one of these people who, what's it, in this world but not of it, because I have so little in common with most other people that I'm kind of, I believe I came here for a reason, but I don't know what it is, because my actual personality, my soul, is, if you like, is different to so many other people's, most other people's. And I'm not saying I'm immune from this sort of thing myself. I'm sure I do it subconsciously, just like the person I'm going to talk about did it. I probably do these things subconsciously too and don't realise it. As I explained when I was up on the mountain, somebody who was on that train with us approached me because they overheard me talking about what my plans were, what I was going to do. So I'm just fiddling with my laptop a minute. They overheard me talking about what my plans were. That is to leave the cafe and go to make a dash for the summit in all that wind and rain and snow as well. Snow in July. And they said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. I'm an experienced mountaineer, Ben, and it's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that." Well, they didn't address me by name because they don't know me, but they said, they sort of looked at me as if they did know me, and they sort of said, "You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm an experienced mountaineer. I wouldn't go out in this. You could be blown off the mountain." And I just thought to myself, if I'd been Paul, she wouldn't have said that. She wouldn't have put that kind of pressure on me. And of course, people do treat beta males differently to alpha males, especially women. And I am a beta male, and I don't think there's a problem with that. As I explained to Eric, I don't think there's a problem with that. It's not a character flaw to be a beta male, and I also said it's not a character flaw to be an alpha male either. It's just who you are, as I explained to in my letter to Eric. But see, I don't think this person meant to insult me. I didn't get the feeling they were being malicious. I got the feeling they were just being concerned. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any disrespect from this person, and I'm not angry with them. I just think it's habit. It's kind of like it's subconscious. It's tacit. People just do it without thinking. I expect I do too. Probably people may mention this in the comment sections, but I've done something similar. Maybe I've treated gamma males in a similar way. I don't know. I actually feel I've had some gamma friends who I've been very protective of. I felt protective of, as I explained in my, what reply video was it to Stefan Molyneux? I can't remember. It was either the confession one, it was the nice guys one. It was my reply to Stefan Molyneux, confession and all nice guys. I explained that I feel the need to defend and protect gammas. But as long as they're not the sort of snide, nasty sort who try and, you know, grease their way in and make you try to manipulate with pity and things like that. I don't like those kinds of guys. But you know, I don't think this person meant any disrespect. I just felt, you know, they were treating me a certain way because of who I was, or my status, my social status. And yeah, that upset me. It upset me. And no disrespect, you know, if I don't, this person's probably not watching, but if they are, you know, I don't feel any, I'm not angry. There's no need to apologise for anything. It's just, so it's just the way the world is, and sometimes these things upset me and they disturb me, you know. But generally, yesterday was all right. Now, like I said, the next couple of days, if the weather's going to be like this, I think solid. I'll just stay here. I'll go and try and find that grave everyone's been talking about. The grave of the guy who used to live here. Forgotten his name now. I thought I might go and find that. Also, I've got plenty of things to read. I've got about 3 FTs to get through, a book. So I think I need to just take it easy for a couple of days. Do my own thing. Guys, anyway, and I'm going to have to try and, I'll probably walk somewhere where I can get a signal. Just walk a little way along the road. You don't have to walk very far before you start getting to a place where you can find a mobile phone signal. So I'll try and do that. Anyway, that's this morning. That's Sunday morning at 5:30 on the Isle of Man. Hey guys, well I'm actually on my own in the house right now. Now I'm not completely naked, you'll be glad to know. I wouldn't have the camera on otherwise. But yeah, it's just me as you can see. Everyone else is gone. They've all gone to the yard sale, a Sunday yard sale in Peel, which apparently is a bit of a tradition. I was tempted to go with them. They're going to do some fun. Tomorrow they're all going on a boat trip around the Isle of Man. But my tack has changed slightly for this particular trip. I've only got 2 full days left here, and I want to spend those doing some private investigations, some private trips, a little bit of solitary rambling and exploring. Well, not completely solitary, because you guys will be coming with me. But I'm going to spend today and tomorrow. I've got some ideas of where I want to go, and I'm going to do that. In the meantime, the reason I've got no clothes on, or very fewer clothes than normal, is because the other ones I'm drying, because I've been washing them. They're actually drying on the radiator. I actually hand washed them in the bath. Even though there is a washing machine, but you know, I can't be bothered to go and get it going, to be honest. It's actually not in the house, it's in the outbuilding I showed you earlier. So yeah, so until those are dry, I'll be staying here, but then hopefully by then the wind will have died down a bit. It's now just gone midday. So the others will be back probably later this evening, or this afternoon, or this evening. I'm going to be just here, just me little me, but I'll be taking a trip out, just a short one. Although I might try and find a place where I can get a signal from my phone, so I can just pick up any correspondence, send a few texts, that sort of thing. Although, you know, my family do have the emergency landline number, so they can reach me if they have to, if something goes wrong. Anyway, guys, I'm now going to settle down with Ross and Bryce and have a little cup of coffee. There's Janet and Paul. They've just gone out. They're going up to the keel along the cliff path. I'm wearing my waterproof. Oh, this is a little bit embarrassing. They're probably going to come back because they forgot something, actually. It's a bit embarrassing because I am like sort of like naked. I mean, I've got like basically, I won't show you, but I've got my hoodie around my waist and this waterproof on. I didn't have the waterproof on originally. I just had the thing around my waist just so I wouldn't feel so exposed. But I'm the only one here. I thought there's nothing wrong with being naked if you're the only one here. Problem is then Paul and Janet suddenly come back. Paul walks in and says, "Hey Ben, you alright?" Standing there with my hoodie tied around my waist, one side completely open, and nothing on top, and he sort of gives me a look. He didn't give me a second look. He's looked at me like I always walk around like that. I thought I better put something on before Janet walks in. So I went up and got this before Janet saw me. Oh, Anyway, they're gone now, so I think I can take this. I think they haven't come back. Sometimes they come back because they forget something, so I'll give them a couple more minutes and I'll take this off. But yeah, I've still waiting for my clothes to dry, and we're going to take a little stroll. Alright guys, I'm just leaving Erie Cushlin and going in this direction. I've not been this way before, and I thought I'd go check out what's over here. Now there's an interesting grave over here apparently, so I'm curious to see. See, that's our physical plant, although apparently the washing machine's broken down, so I actually hand wash my clothes, so that's just as well. So I'm going to go through here. This is a public footpath. Now you go along that way, you get to a keel. A keel is an old, it's a church, or sort of a church and sort of church stroke memorial, I gather. Now I've got to be a bit careful for two reasons. Firstly, I'm not going to go that way anyway, but there are ticks. Janet and Paul picked up a load of ticks. They got only a couple of bites, but I've tucked my trousers into my socks just in case. On my inner pair of trousers. It's a nice evening actually, or nice afternoon. It's about just gone 5 o'clock. The sea has calmed down, the wind's calmed down, and there's a bit of sunshine on the sea there. See? Okay guys, I couldn't find that grave because it's really, apparently it's very close. It walks within sight of the house, but I couldn't find a pathway up there. It was very boggy. I thought I'd probably go in the wrong way, so I might leave that for another time. I've also been looking for the bomb craters. The story I told you about how the Germans only ever dropped 3 bombs on the Isle of Man. All 3 of them landed near Erie Cushlin. And the guy who lived there, the guy who lived in Erie Cushlin, he deliberately went there because he was scared of being bombed by the Germans. I think he lived in Douglas or something, and he moved here because he was scared of being bombed by the Germans in World War II. Anyway, I'm now following a pathway up the side of this mountain. Was it Cronty Erie Lee, I think it's called. It's got some name. I'll show it you later anyway on the map. You see the mist is coming in as it tends to do over that hill, making it look very spooky. If I get 411 on this journey, hope my camera survives so people know what I was doing and where I was. No, I'm only kidding. It's a lovely spot, absolutely beautiful spot here, very nice indeed. The view gets more and more magnificent the higher you get. There's the woods around Erie Cushlin. That's the one where we planted the trail cams. That's the Central Mountains over there. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, by the way, the trail cams didn't show anything, I should point out. There's some hooded crows and hedgehog, that was it. No mongoose, or mogooses, or geese. No Jeff, no Bigfoot, nothing like that. So it's always worth a try. It's like a seance, you know, with the Ouija board. It's always worth trying to do these things, even if you don't get results. You don't get results every time. But, there you are. Right. I don't think many people will be persuaded not to take motor vehicles in here. Some dirt bikers like a challenge. Got to watch out for the ground nesting birds. Oh. I just fit through that kissing gate. God, I need to lose weight. I decided to try and climb Crunk near Erie. It's a steep but not very long climb. There's the cairn at the top, is actually the summit. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to stick to the path and everything. Two reasons. Firstly, I need to get a mobile phone signal. And getting one, I haven't managed to pick one up yet, even though I'm on the road where I picked one up yesterday. The second reason is, as George Mallory said, because it's there. So here we go. As you see, there is a person up there already. At least I hope it's a person. I've made it. Here's the summit. A cairn, as is often the case on high mountains. Some people have flowers, I think. Of course, you see so much from here. Here we are. Made it. We're on the summit. There we are. Oh, Hey, look at this. Look around, you guys. It's Port St. Mary, Port Erin. It's as Brad ahead there. Port Erin is behind it. Yeah. And there's the Carford Man. That little island, that there I think is the Carford Man. Which is an island off the coast of the Isle of Man. An island off an island. Which, well, I might be visiting tomorrow, I don't know. Probably not, but I have the chance to. The others will be. Look at that. Oh, look at that sight. It's a peel in the distance, I think it is. Let's have a look. That's actually a bloody peel. Whoa. See if you spot the power station, you know it's Peel. Yeah. That must be Peel. Look, there's the castle. There's Peel. Yay! Because you can see so far on this damn island. You can just see so far. Everything is like visible. And there in the distance you see Mount Morn in County Down, Ireland, and you see more of the coast of Ireland here. Hey. Anyway, I was going to see if I can get a view of Erie Cushling, because you can see Erie Cushling from up here. Hello, my fine friends. Here's our home from home, there's Erie Cushling. I've seen in the window. If anyone else is back yet. Yeah, it's a shame I don't have a phone signal, because I'd tell them to give me a wave. I'd phone them up now and tell them to give me a wave. Back down. No, that's where I've come from there, off on top of that mountain there, the hill. Crunk near Erie, and now I've got to head back. Now the way back is easy, I just got to follow this main road, and even on that I'm surprised I didn't get a phone signal up there. Well, it was trying at one point, I could see it was picking something up, but no bars. It was just like hourglassing. So now I've just got to walk back, and luckily it's just all along this main road here. I mean, it's a bit hazardous for cars, but as long as I keep in, I'll be okay. It's a Sunday evening, there's not going to be many people on the road, so that's fun. I might get I remember last time I got a phone signal around here, so I'm going to try again when I get around the side here. I've got to go past this thing called the Round Table, which is actually a crossroads, but apparently there's an ancient monument there. I don't know anything about it. We haven't got Maria Wheatley with us, so I can't tell. Okay, it's a lovely little area here, isn't it? Still enjoying the scenery.